My name is Sarah Woodbury, and I'm here today with my husband Dan to talk about my new book, Unbroken in Time.
So what's the book about?
The basic premise of the book is that King Philippe of France has summoned David, who's the King of England, to France to bend the knee for the right to rule his Duchy of Aquitaine.
I've actually read the book, so I know what the book's about.
And basically, Philippe is bent on world domination. David isn't too keen on that idea, and the rest of the book develops essentially from that conflict between the two of them.
This is the 17th book in the series. Does that pose an extra challenge to you, or?
So I promised myself and my readers way back in Crossroads in Time, which is the third book in the series, that I would not ever write a book just to write a book, that I needed to have a story to tell. And I have found that even with 17 novels now, I'm super excited about Unbroken in Time and the direction that it's taking the series. Obviously, I hope the readers are excited about it too.
How do you keep the series fresh?
I love history, which should be obvious by now. And every time I write a new book, I get to do research on a new time period and a new place. And I really enjoy reading about those things myself and then setting a story in that time and place, which I feel is exciting to me, and I hope it then is exciting to the reader as well. Each of the books that I have written has taken some new journey in the history in the Middle Ages. So, for example, starting out in 1268 with Daughter of Time, that was really focused on Wales itself. By Footsteps in Time, we're getting into the conflict between Wales and England. As the stories progress, we move into England, we move into Scotland, we move into Ireland, and now it's 1295, and we're in France. There's a lot that goes on and a lot of great stories to tell. I'm still really excited about telling them.
Some of the events in your books seemed a little far-fetched.
I find that absolutely true myself. And it is one of the great things, particularly actually about this book, because King Philippe of France, as I said, is bent on world domination. And we've talked a lot about in prior videos from our recent trip to France about some of the things that went on in the late 13th century during his reign.
You mean in actual history?
In actual history. What in the After Cameri series is called Avalon. So Philippe really did summon King Edward, to bend the knee. He was to give up the Duchy of Aquitaine, and Philippe was to give it back.
As you talked about a couple of videos ago.
Philippe didn't give it back.
Yeah.
So other things Philippe did, which are also in the blurb, so I'm not really giving anything away, is that he expelled the Jews from France, he exterminated the Templars, and he assassinated a pope.
And all that we've talked about in the last few videos in France.
And that all really happened. As a novelist, if I were just writing that cold, a reader might be, oh, that would never happen. But it did happen. And so there's a lot of really exciting fodder for the 13th century, and particularly what's going on in France right now. Next week, we are starting a new series of videos within the framework of Making Sense of Medieval Britain. A month and a half ago, I asked you what you wanted, and the sort of overwhelming response was more of the same. This new series will build on what we talked about last year and hopefully take us through 2020. If you like this video, click on the playlist or subscribe to my channel. There'll be a new video next week. And if you want to check out my books, click on the link to my webpage.